America prepares. All America alters its pattern of life and work to meet the demand for protection. Industry is a double step to supply the sinews of safety, the armaments of war that an embattled world must have if democracy is to survive. Mechanical genius joins with the muscle of millions of men, working to win for the ways of freedom. Freedom to think, to speak, to rise, live, and plan with one's fellow man. America's vast resources are harnessed to the job of being the world arsenal for this and other democracies. Its present-day production of armaments is but a mere fraction of the great job that lies ahead. The flow of production in plant and shipyard gains speed. Vessels of all types, carriers, merchantmen, submarines, slip off the ways in growing numbers.
Welcome back to Blades and Blasters, and once again we're sitting down to play Delta Green, the Lineage campaign. So thank you all for joining us, and last time we had our lovely agents of Irving and Abductor and Howard, as well as Thaddeus, travel to Denmark and confront the door warden there. And well, things got messy and things were upsetting. And when you had arrived back, Colonel Gray had looked at everyone and taken down your statements, and he nodded and gave it some thought. But within a few days, he gathered you all together. And a second here to go into collections and make sure that's go. That's he looks at everyone and goes, your service has been commendable so far, but after the last mission, I think that it's probably for the best that we take a breather and refocus our efforts. So you have shore leave and also dedicated time to redouble our efforts and focus on where we want to strike next. And Thaddeus nods and just kind of abruptly turns around and walks out. So after that, though, the time is open. So we can start with home scenes here, since we're doing kind of just a more chill and relaxed episode for our
that'd
characters.
Be great.
Yeah, just a little stress relief.
Mm-hmm.
That works.
All right.
Yeah.
The more chill we play this, the more sanity points we get back, right?
Yep, that's how that works.
I'm sure.
Go up.
All the
So let's start out. Everyone, roll me a d10, please. We'll see who goes first.
Cool.
Okay, it looks like Howard is going first. So, Howard, you've got your home scenes. And you've got your home scenes there. So you have a couple of different things that you can do. Now, you had written letters home to your bonds. What's his name again?
Well, I have my
It's
family,
Paul.
and then I've got Paul, yeah.
Yep. Have you? I remember you distinctly writing to Paul. Had you written anything to your wife and daughter yet?
Probably, yeah.
Okay.
Obligated to.
So you get a couple letters back from your wife and daughter. What are their names?
Wife's name is Emily.
Okay.
Daughter's name is Doreen.
Okay. And they say, "Oh, we miss you. Hope you're doing our country proud," and things like that. And then you get a letter from Paul. And okay, pull that up. Oh, there it is. Just read this here, so you get a little bit of flavor with that. I don't have anything written in there quite yet, but you get a letter back from Paul, and the first letter goes along the lines of, "Oh, Howard, it's been wonderful to hear from you." And where was he located at again? Was he located just down the road from you, or?
Not like as close as down the road, but the same city. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, he lives in Virginia as well, and you know, things have been pretty hard here lately. But I'm trying to uh, keep a what is it? You're in England, right? So keep a stiff upper lip. That's what they say, right? And yeah, are you doing okay? Your last letter was a little stressed out. It seemed like. I hope everything is going well for you over there. Tell me what you can and write soon. From Paul. And are you and Paul, like, you're fairly close, correct?
Yeah, we're pretty close.
Okay. And just recalling, you don't quite remember anything in the letter that you wrote to Paul after your first mission that would have keyed him in on being stressed out, but he knows you pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
So, and you, at the end of the last one, you'd sent a letter off, and we're going to say that this session takes place over roughly about a month.
Okay.
So, home session here. What would you like to do first?
I've lost a lot of sanity,
Fair.
so I would love some therapy.
Okay. So, yes. All right. Now, therapy is, once again, in the home scene, there is a systemic deconstruction of mental trauma. So, you are going to a therapist. Are you seeking one out, or are you trying to find... Oh, shoot, I need music. I forgot all about music. I apologize about that. Are you trying to find one yourself, or are you trying to go for one that is provided by Pisces?
Probably one that's provided.
Okay. You don't know how much they've been told, and how much you are cleared to tell, but do you tell the truth to this therapist, or what exactly? How do you approach that?
I think I tell the truth. I probably don't give specifics on like what's been happening, but I probably talk about it in regards of, like, I know they asked me back because my country needed me, and they told me that, like, the skills I learned in the first war, or the big war, I think it was called, or the Great War, right?
Yes.
Would be highly needed, like, for what's to come. And so I wanted to do my country proud and to help, but I never expected the things that I've seen. Compared to the horrors of what happened in the Great War, like, the things I've already seen after just going out a few times have been so much worse.
Okay.
I think it's like kind of phrased like that sort of thing. So not saying specifically, but just talking about like how seeing these horrible things is affecting him.
Okay, so let's see. Okay, so since you are kind of not doing specifics, you're not penalized, but the therapist isn't penalized, sorry. Let's see, where's that at? Why is this being weird? Okay, there we go. And okay, I am going to handle it like that. So I'm going to give the therapist a 60%, minus 10, just because you're not doing super specifics, but he kind of knows, hey, a 5, perfect. So go ahead and roll me a d4, and that's how much sanity you regain.
Let's go for... Ah, damn it.
Ah, bummer.
Okay.
Okay, so. Okay. All right. So there we go. And going to therapy reduces one bond by one as you let responsibilities lapse. So, which one of your bonds suffers because you skipped out on a letter home this week?
Fucking family.
Fuck those people. All right. So lower that by one.
Okay.
Okay, and since this is just kind of a more loosely, a more loose and free-flowing session, we'll probably have about two home scenes and then some interim things to do as well. So, so that's your therapy session there, and then who was next on the D10? It looks like
Aki.
Irving. So, yep, let's go over to Irving.
Irving. Yeah. So I was kind of thinking on it a little bit. Irving had already kind of taken the rest of the day off after the last mission. I say the day, but it was a long trip back. It was pretty much just until he had to report in. But I think overall, like looking at the home scene options, him being a soldier and with the stuff he's seen, he figures it's probably not for the best to tell family and friends and stuff about like, oh yeah, the Germans have mechanical soldiers they're working on and stuff like that.
Fair.
It's all stuff that's probably best kept to the army and such. So I think he might improve his skill or stat. We've had to do a fair bit of stuff with Spec Ops, so I think he's gonna probably call up a or actually probably ask. God damn, I can never remember. Gray, is that it?
Yep, Colonel Gray.
Never. Yeah, Colonel Gray. He'd probably ask if there's anyone that might be able to give him some Spec Ops training of any kind, anything to help with, because he's been in the current war plenty. He can shoot expertly, but a lot of the missions they're on are requiring subterfuge. So he'd be asking Colonel Gray if there's anyone that could help him with that.
Okay. So one of the things that I have been doing with this campaign, which is not something that you see in other Delta Green campaigns, though, is that based on your performance throughout the mission, Colonel Gray provides training. So, after the unfortunate passing of Green in the first mission, you all learned how to throw better. And after everyone's recounting of your current mission, Colonel Gray has opted for everyone to undergo subterfuge and infiltration tactics. So for this, as well as hand-to-hand. So the way that I'm going to play this is that over this month that he will be enrolling you in stealth as well as hand-to-hand. So what I will do is, for everyone here that's present, just basically treat it like you failed the skill. So put a check mark next to put a check mark next to your stealth skill, and then it can be your choice on if you want to do hand-to-hand or melee or unarmed combat to increase.
Okay. Let me check that off real quick. I think Irving is pretty capable with unarmed combat, so he'll focus on that actually. And of course, he's quite glad to be getting some stealth training. He really needs it.
Okay. And then just click.
If it were just a matter of like outpacing and everything, it'd be one thing. But
and that's for everyone. That's for right? Yep. That's for the doctor and then for Howard as well.
In that case, so he would have time to actually pay attention to bonds and stuff, huh?
Yes, correct. Unless you wanted to develop your stealth further.
Yeah, honestly, I think he would, because he's very much a soldier. His family is very much fight for the country and everything.
Okay, so true British.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And he's a bit of a patriot himself, so I think and also the fact that if they get discovered on these missions, there's a very high likelihood they're entirely screwed. So,
Yep.
generally speaking, so I think it might be fitting for him to focus on training his stealth. So he probably spends quite a fair bit more time than the others, even spending a good bit of his downtime. You know, he's supposed to be, you know, out relaxing and stuff. He'd rather focus on getting better so that he doesn't get killed, so that he can have fun later.
Okay. So yep, go ahead and then click the update on the bottom of the character sheet so that your skills are updated to be correct. And then after that, then we can improve your skill or stat. So by training and studying excessively, your agent can try to boost a skill or stat. So this will reduce one bond by 1. So you can make that choice and who you want that to go down by 1. As they write to you to say, come home.
His girlfriend probably wouldn't as much.
They,
So I think
write, come home, please. And you're like, nah, I got to go play soldier.
Yeah, typically doesn't go great, does it?
So,
But, yeah, so I'll drop Annabelle down 1. Poor Annabelle.
and then you want to roll the skill. That's correct. There it is.
Okay. So this would be Dex for stealth?
Let's see. Meditating. Therapy. That's for your stats. So attempt to test the stat or the skill. So roll the skill.
Oh, the skill itself, okay.
Yep. And then if you
Okay.
fail, then you improve it by 1d10.
Oh, perfect. That's pretty good. So let's give it a go. Yeah, I
All
definitely
right.
failed it. So I get 1d10, let's see. It's more stealth.
That's a good
More
boost.
stealth. I guess up to 18 from 10, so I'm happy.
All right, and then I need Aki. I need which branch of the military were you in? For Irving, sorry.
Let me see. I don't know a ton about military, but
It would be soldier, or basically the Army, the Air Force, or the Navy.
oh, definitely Army then.
Okay, and then I need the name of a commanding officer.
Ooh, oh, what's it? Well, it'd be a lad, wouldn't it? I almost said Irving. How about Andrew?
Okay.
All right.
Oops. All right. So. Okay, so as you are coming back from your one of your outings, and then coming in to see Colonel Gray, requesting more further training, you come across a. Well, before you enter the building itself, you're all in that warehouse on the outskirts of town. You hear yelling coming from inside the door, and this is even while you're outside. It's very, very loud. It's just echoes outward, and you give pause. You recognize the voice. It's your commander. It's Major Andrews. And since it's through a thick metal door and thick concrete, you can't quite hear what's being shouted, but he is pissed. You've heard him shout at other privates like this when they have screwed up royally, and it's the same booming intonation that he yells at them. And it goes quiet for a minute, and the door is flung open. You have to jump back, and you see his face is just beet red from how much he was screaming. And he takes a moment to pause and looks at you before recognition sets in. He goes, "Read." Right.
Major. I suppose I'd say it's good to see you, but it sounds like something's wrong.
And what's your human tats? It's pretty decent, isn't it?
What?
Your human? Oh, it's 10%. Okay.
Yeah, it's not great.
Yeah. You've been around him enough. You can get a good beat on him. He's holding something back. He looks at you for a moment, hesitates, and he goes, "Right, we'll get this sorted out, right?" And he just nods and kind of awkwardly slaps you on the shoulder and just storms away, gets in a car, and drives off. As you kind of look confusedly as the vehicle drives away, you turn around and see Colonel Gray standing in the center of the room there, and the other people actively just ignoring everything that happened. Colonel Gray just seems to be fairly straight-faced at it, doesn't wear any expression on his face as the shouting was mainly directed at him. But he sees you and nods, and you walk in. Yes.
Colonel Gray.
Mr.
Hope
Reed.
everything's all right.
Yes, everything's okay. Just a disagreement with the major there.
I could guess. I take it it's sorted though.
And he gives a little bit of a smirk. It's not joyful, and it's not done with malice. It's just kind of this humorless smirk that crosses his face, and he just nods and says, "It's all been sorted. A matter of rank and authority." Now, you were coming to me for something?
Everything's all right.
Everything's okay. Did you have something for me?
Not in particular. I was just coming to thank you and ask for more training about the stealth. Things have been difficult, of course, and although you have already set aside some time for all of us, I feel it is best that I spend more on it. It's the dangers we face are something I want to deal with face to face if I don't have to, of course.
Yes, and given your recent report, I understand that subterfuge and secrecy is probably for the best for your group, more often than not. I think Howard is more of a up-close and personal individual, or at least out in front individual, I should say. But some of you, and he kind of nods towards you and gestures towards the back room, some of you like to be in the shadows, and that's where you work best at.
I suppose. I spent plenty of time with this good old rifle, typically from a good distance, though. A lot of these missions, as you said, require us to get a bit up close or well behind lines where either I don't want to be firing so often, or it'd be for the best that I just dip past. I definitely think it should be a priority going forward.
Understandable. Yes, we can certainly schedule another bout with the commander. And he nods, and that's where the camera pans out there as we go over to Herr Doctor.
Hello. Oh, sorry, I meant hello.
Yes, what is Herr Doctor doing?
Herr Doctor needs some therapy.
Okay, all right, so you are going to go to therapy.
He wants
as
to
well.
talk about the problems he has.
Okay, now
He has an assigned doctor.
That is correct. Are you telling this person the truth?
Well, yeah, I follow orders like a German should, and he is assigned by the same people that assign me the missions, so he should be cleared.
All right.
At least that's his blue-eyed, obviously that's how it works, assumptions.
Okay. Let's see. All right. Oof. Okay. Yes, and then don't forget to reduce one of your bonds by one since you're going to therapy.
I don't have outside bonds. That's not what Doctor. The Doctor doesn't have a good life outside of work, which makes him vulnerable. But it's just how he is. He only has 2 people, both of which are very smart, and they both are within the realm of Delta Green, I think. Pisces, you called them?
The British agency is Pisces at this point.
Yeah.
But yep, you'll still have to reduce one by one because they are kind of your bastions of sanity.
But it says in the rules it doesn't apply if I don't have any outside. It literally says this does not apply if an agent has no bonds outside of Delta Green.
Let's see.
On page 78, which is on your handout, home scene page 1, bottom left.
Okay. Let's see.
Of course, you're the handler. You can make me do whatever you want, but I'm just saying.
No, that's right. It's been a while since I fully read the rules, so let me just read through this quick here. Let's see. Okay.
But we could, if you wanted to, we could say that the relationship with Professor Ethan Hamilton suffers because he's not spending time in the lab, but instead he's going to all these, therapy sessions. We could do that. But both of my contacts are also working men, as you would call it, like inside.
No, that's fine.
Delta
I
Green.
didn't know that before, so I will just go ahead and put this down in your character sheet here, so I know for next time.
Yeah, you might recall Professor Ethan Hamilton wasn't even on my starting list. I only got him through this work. So I started out just being a loner that they assigned a therapist to.
Oh, that's
and then
right.
after the first session, I actually used my home scene to make a contact here that he can call a friend and talk shop with, essentially.
That is correct. I forgot about that. Thank you for reminding me. So,
No, for sure.
Yep, those 2 won't reduce, but they're at 4, so they're not doing great.
Nope.
But no, that's
Nor
okay.
is that Doctor.
No, that's also true.
Yeah.
Let's see. So it didn't fumble, but it didn't succeed. Let's see. Okay, so yep, it didn't unfortunately succeed, but you didn't lose any sanity in the roll.
Mhm.
So, it's a good toe the line at least.
I mean, it only works 1 in 3 times, unfortunately.
Yep. So that was your home scene, and as you, let's see, let me make sure because I have a whole bunch of notes on every character here, so that's all that you see. All right, so as you are making your way back,
I was hoping to maybe get a lab now. I'm not sure if Gray was lying about that or not.
Yeah, he would give you a rudimentary lab. He wouldn't give you access to a lot, just because he still doesn't fully trust you, and you were on loan from the Americans. So,
yeah,
yeah, he would give you a rudimentary lab where you can go in and start experimenting. What type of equipment does Air Doctor have in his lab?
Appointment? Can you describe what you mean by that?
Equipment.
Oh, equipment. Desk, a chair, a bookcase that he tries to fill with as many books as he can. Even though this is sort of an office, as you said, an office away from his office in the U.S., right? He's just on loan here.
Yeah.
And he would probably put 1 or 2, if big enough, if it's a small room, maybe a table on the left and a table on the right. One of them he would fit with a chemistry set, and one he would fit with sort of like an electric bench, mechanical, that kind of stuff, because those are his 2 like hobbies, is to either tinker on armor or weapons or anything else mechanical, like a taser he always wanted to build, or on the other side, anything chemistry related, where he might think maybe he can, for example, might be interesting to him now is these dudes were made out of ceramics, right?
Ceramic and metal.
Ceramic, metal, and alloys, right? So he might try to use his chemistry to figure out what is the best acid to use against these. Can he make some acid glass bombs that one could just throw at them and it would shatter on contact, that kind of stuff.
Okay. Then let's take a look at your skills here. Let's see, you have math and chemistry. Okay, go ahead and roll me a chemistry check, please.
Sure. It says science is 0, even though I have 60 in it, so I'll just roll it and see what happens. If that works. Yeah, it's a success.
Okay, so with that, then let's check this here.
Also, he got nailed. If he's given enough time, he might try and build himself, like, reinforce his lab coat more.
Okay.
Build himself some sort of armor. Because he did not like getting shot.
That's fair.
Yes.
Most people don't.
Yeah, most people really don't.
Getting shot is real upsetting. Give me just a second here as I look through my notes.
Yeah.
Quick.
Yeah. You know, an Iron Man suit would be great.
So the thing, I'm not going to make you roll sanity on this because you have experienced the weirdness of these creatures already.
Yeah.
But as soon as you go to pour acid on it, it's almost like the ceramic and the metal melt, but they melt away, but there's no residue left over.
I mean, that's okay. If I wanted to lob one of those globes at an attacker, I'd be okay if they completely disappear.
And as you're pondering that, and kind of almost rubbing your hands together with glee, thinking about, hey, maybe we can get rid of these.
Yeah.
You turn your back on the table, and when you turn back around, the piece is restored.
I walk out of the room.
Fair.
Yep. I walk out of the room. I walk over to Ethan Hamilton in his own, like, bigger lab. Chat him up a little, just to get my mind off it. And at some point, if I feel like I have sort of mentally shaken that image, I'll actually tell him, like, what has happened. A little bewildered.
Okay. See
if he has any advice.
Oh, he doesn't take that well. He looks at you and goes, what do you mean? It came back?
Either I'm getting very, very particular, specific cataracts in my eyes, or it reappeared. I mean, I have some theories that scientifically one could prove. For example, what if the first reaction just it stayed there, but it became invisible somehow? Maybe we have a chance to learn about invisibility technology, or if it still actually disappeared, for how long would it disappear? Is that maybe just timed and it was a coincidence? You understand? A second set of eyes might be helpful in trying this. Unless you have, of course, I realize you have important things to do, so if you have maybe an assistant that I could use just for a few minutes, half an hour maybe,
Yes, I can certainly attend to that. And he comes with you, and over the process of, an hour, Pete, you see him get very, very upset as these things don't convey or behave according to the traditional modes of
But is it gone? Like if I what is it, like the preservation of objects? One object can't be where another object is. If I put like a metal rod where the helmet piece was, do I hit an invisible object, or is it actually gone?
As you do that, pour the acid on it, and it vanishes. You take just a prod or a prong and poke it in there, and it occupies the space that the acid had deteriorated.
Okay, so I take it out and I keep the what is it, like a countdown clock, a timer? I keep a timer running.
Okay, and within
just to see if it disappears, if it reappears while being observed, or only while not being observed.
And while you're doing that, it's almost as if you blink and then it's back, and you don't see it rematerialize. And the thing that catches you is that you look over to your friend there, and he
hasn't blinked yet, maybe.
Yeah, the blinking is off, but he didn't see it reappear as well.
Sorry, but we don't blink at the same time, right?
And he shakes his head no.
So if I blink and I see it again, is there a moment before he blinks while it's still hidden to him?
And you can't get the timing matched up. Like, even if you try to blink at the same time, both of you do not know when this thing came back.
Yeah, so there isn't a good timer to it? Like, because I'm now thinking in application, if I threw a bomb, one of these bombs at an assailant, one of these robots, or marionettes, right? Can I make them disappear for 3 to 5 minutes, for example? Get something done, and before they reappear, leave. Is, for example, an example, an application that the doctor would think about. Like, sort of, I phase them out of existence for just a short amount of time, so I can get past them or not get killed, you know, or flee. And if they reappear behind me, that's fine. I would just like to know how long I have while they are phased out.
With your chemistry roll, given the degradation of the material, you can give yourself a window. It's not accurate because it appears that whenever you observe it, it's not present. But as soon as you are your attention is turned away, then it rematerializes. But the thing is,
what about a camera? What if I was to record it?
That would take a bureaucracy check to requisition one during wartime.
Fair. I got 50% on that.
It's worth a shot.
Cool. I did put points in that for that. But no, the answer is no.
And 81. Unfortunately, due to the wartime efforts, it is unavailable.
Don't have one extra. Well, I'll try to make light of it because I see how upset he gets about it. Say like, well, look, it's just very peculiar. Yeah, it's not a problem. Not a problem. We learned something today.
So,
thank you so much for your help.
Probably about a window of anywhere between 30 seconds to 2 minutes.
Yeah, so not very long, but maybe long enough to bust through a window or run out of the house.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll take note of that. It's kind of interesting.
Okay, so then let's go back up to the top there for let's do the second home scene here for Howard.
All right, I think therapy was helpful for him, but I think just kind of being stuck in this location for so long, and so closely, like, this place is obviously very closely associated with the work he's been doing, so if he's able to, I think he's just gonna go and leave the grounds just for a little bit and spend some time alone.
Okay.
And do the whole, like, back to nature downtime action.
Okay, where do you go?
What's the area around this place like? Is it just, like, in a city?
Yeah, you're in London. You're on the outskirts of London. So the area that you're in is developed, but it is also, wartime London. So it's not super developed, and it is kind of ramshackle in places. You could easily take a walk and within probably 15 minutes be outside of London proper and far enough away.
Yeah, I think he's gonna do something like that. Just if he can find, like, a small park, like, a ways away, or even just a little bit of nature, just kind of, like, walking through that. Thinking of his time in the Great War and kind of his move back home and his move to Virginia, his relationship with his family and with his friend, and just trying to kind of, like, remember life outside of this place and, like, recenter himself a bit.
Okay, so go ahead then and give me that sanity check. Don't forget to reduce one of your bonds by 1.
Okay. It's gonna be the family. Oh, darn.
Okay. So you didn't you didn't fumble, so that's good. So it is no sand gain, no sand loss, but you did lose 1 on your bond, unfortunately.
Yeah. Okay.
And once again, you skip a week of letter writing.
Yeah.
And when you get back, there is another letter waiting for you from. Sorry, I keep getting his name, from Paul. And detail what you wrote after your second mission. Like, not in great detail, but just give us the Cliff Notes version of what you wrote to Paul after your second mission.
Probably something of like, yeah, you know me too well as always. It has been stressful here, but I'm just trying to keep my head to the ground, stay safe, stay helpful, do our country proud, like that sort of deal. And then check in with how, like, he's doing, if he's feeling okay, if he's safe, if anybody's been visiting him, that sort of stuff.
Okay. The letter that you get back, he details out that he's staying safe. He's had a few visitors here and there. Some old army buddies, because you were in the army in World War I, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So he details that out, and you recognize some of the names, and he says things have been slowly going better here. I found a stable, and I'm very glad to hear from you. Your last letter, though, it kind of, Howard, are you sure you're okay? And you can see it. There's actual just gaps in between the writing. Like, he has a thought and he wants to put it down, but he doesn't know the words to say. And he continues on, just a couple spaces later, and he goes, it's almost like you're rambling. And what are these, like, the letter I got, some of it was blacked out. What are you up to over there? And that's where it ends.
Do I get the idea that maybe the government is like censoring some of what I'm saying?
You do get that, but you don't specifically remember writing anything that was really truly rambling.
Yeah. Okay. I think he finds that weird and will start writing another letter saying, like, yes, I'm totally okay. Like, don't worry about me. Yeah, just kind of like a reassuring letter.
Okay. And you fold that up and send that off.
And probably write a letter to my wife and kid as well. as an afterthought.
Hey, you. How are you doing?
Champ.
All right, then let's move back to Irving. Hey, for your second home scene here, what would you like to do?
Let me see. I think I just realized I think it's supposed to be 1 lower, so fix that because I don't think I had 5. I think I started 4. But I mean, like with how things have been and like what he was just talking with Colonel Gray. I mean, I imagine he'll probably hear from his father at some point, but he's gonna still focus on training. I mean, with the stuff they've been up to, it's beyond typical soldier work. He feels like he has something more important right now than tending to niceties, frankly.
Fair.
So I think he's gonna whoever has been training them in the subterfuge department, as it were, he's gonna be hanging with them. I think.
We've visited him a couple times. He probably needs a name.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
So let's take a look.
I think he may end up becoming a Bond at some point too. Not just yet, obviously. I mean, it's only been so long, but if Irving keeps doing some training, it might make sense.
Let's see. We have got. Oh, what is it? He would be Captain. All right, so he would be Captain Victor Houghton. Write that down here. All right, so Captain Houghton he's about, let's say 5'7", 5'8", somewhere in there. He is. The surprising thing about him is that he's a broad-shouldered man, but he has been trained well enough and long enough that you can tell that he is able to sneak up on you and snap your neck if he wanted to without even stirring, without even causing the breeze to ruffle your hair. So he has salt and pepper black hair. So he's in his mid to late 40s, but he still moves with the grace and the light steppedness of someone who has been practicing quiet walking for most of their life. So go ahead, and since you're doing that, go ahead and roll me the stealth there. And I assume you took down your father, given what you said there?
Yeah.
Okay.
And actually, that would be one, because that was last time, and then his father went down one then. So yeah. So I mean, before, when he was like in the field and stuff, more traditional, just outright war, he probably kept in contact every so often. But now that he's doing this kind of stuff, I mean, he's not sure how to approach it and how to like tell them, oh yeah, I'm dealing with some really crazy stuff, but don't worry about me. He doesn't want to make them worry any more than they already are, so he just sticks through it. And let's see that stealth. Hey!
Nice. All right.
It's
Go
1d4.
ahead and break that.
Alrighty. That's more like it.
Nice. All right. You are getting to be a stealthy motherfucker.
Yeah, he's got 28 now. That's pretty good.
That is pretty good.
Help a lot. So Irving is quite happy spending this time with Victor. The training is clearly paying off as he starts kind of testing it out a little bit. He does, although typically he's more so like, let's just get the job done. My priority is, winning and not dying, generally speaking. But when he actually has time outside of that, he is a bit mischievous. So I imagine there's probably a point where he plays like a very innocent prank on. I think he doesn't want to fuck with Herr Doctor.
Fair.
But he feels like Howard would get a joke.
Okay.
Where the doctor would just be like, "Why would you do that? Doesn't make any sense." So he'd probably do something as simple as let me see, something the equivalent of the rubber band on the tap type thing. For Howard, that level of like, well, I've got nothing to do today. I need to relieve some stress. Howard will do.
Okay.
And so I imagine, yeah, let's see whether he's able to successfully. I imagine there's like a place where we're all kind of staying near each other, and
yeah, you would
get in there.
be given barracks with on premise there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So I imagine Howard probably gets back around the time he's trying to set this up, and you see he seems to have one of your socks kind of near your bunk. And it looks like he was kind of down on the other side. He came in at just the wrong time. Kind of just looks up at you with this kind of blank face, like not knowing what to say.
So yeah, Howard, you walk in to see that.
Hey.
Oh, hey. Sorry about that. It seemed to have been on the floor. You must have dropped it, I guess. I'll just, I don't know where you want it. It kind of goes to quickly shove it in, whatever, like, footlocker you have at the end of there.
Yeah, totally.
And,
He's like, yeah, that's fine.
alright. How you doing, Howard? He kind of gets up and, walks over. You doing alright? I mean, things have been a bit odd lately.
Yeah, odd's a good word for it. And he kind of like strokes his beard a little bit. I've been fine. You doing good?
Oh, hey, I mean, like you said, odd. Things have been disconcerting, but yeah, doing alright. Trying to, I mean, honestly, I'm kind of worried I'm gonna die any day now with the missions we're going on, so.
Yeah, I
I
worry
guess, but-
about that one too.
I suppose that's par for the course, isn't it?
Yeah.
Anyway, though, I'll let you get back to it. Kind of gives you a nod and tap on the shoulder as he heads on off. Without another word, do you go check the sock?
I guess so. Yeah, I'll check the sock.
It looks like it might have a bit of dog poo in it.
Oh,
God.
damn it. He's like, fuck. He takes it out of his foot locker and
Like right, like he made sure to get it all the way down into the toe, so you have to turn it inside out to get it.
oh
God.
god. Yeah, he's gonna like curse to himself a little bit. And probably take it outside of his room and throw it away somewhere and go wash his hands very carefully.
Fair.
Yeah, it was just a little dried up dog turd in the end of your sock, so that you had to like pull down all the way just to squish those toes in. You're welcome.
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate ya.
All right, so then let's pan back over to the doctor as you're walking in, as Howard is walking out, just cursing under his breath with a sock in his hand.
I will look over and say, yeah, it sucks when you lose the other one.
Yeah, that's what's happening. Mm-hmm.
Of
And-
course, I know. That's why I'm commenting on it.
Yeah, I was just yeah. Uh-huh. And he kind of like opens the lid of a trash can and like tosses it in there. What are you up to?
Listen, I found out if you the marionettes, if you throw a lot of acid at them, they will disappear for half a minute to 2 minutes. They will be literally just gone, melted completely, and then they will reappear. So we might be able to use that.
Oh, how do they reappear if they're melted by acid?
Given a reaction of a good friend of mine who became very frustrated at that very question, I would highly recommend you do not burden your brain with that question.
He nods knowingly. All right, yeah. Okay, well, were you wanting to try to like capture one, or what are you thinking?
I'd like to violently destroy them all. That's why I'm doing these experiments. But I thought it was a good start. So if we all had maybe either acid spray or acid, glass blown acid balls we could throw at them, that would make them very, very kaput for at least a short while. You know, if we need to run away or one of them is in the path. Yeah.
Well, I mean, in the Great Wars, I'm sure you're aware, there was lots of gases being used. Is there not a way we could utilize some of that?
You see, let me explain that to you, and he becomes almost condescending, right? Or maybe he is a condescending. He says, in a liquid form, there are more molecules per volume than in a gas form, yeah? And these molecules interact with the matter that the marionettes are made of. Okay, there is a lot of marionette. Actually, they're quite big, as you know. So we also need a good amount of acid to do that. So unless you see how impractical it would be to just bring a fine mister to just blow over some gas. It's not as practical unless you have a lot of time. And then he starts actually thinking about some sort of doomsday device he could build. It's like, I mean, you could drop maybe a lot of it from airplanes, but you know what I mean? In our missions, we don't have that kind of support.
Yeah, thanks for the explanation, Doc.
But it is good. He taps you on the shoulder. He says, it is good for some layman to think from another direction that might not occur to me because it might just be so absurd of an idea. Very valuable. Thank you, thank you.
He just kind of nods with a, like, well, fuck expression on his face. He's like, happy to help, I suppose.
But you are an engineer, aren't you not?
I am, yeah.
I got I got a hole in me last time. I'd like to prevent that. Doesn't your department or someone else have some form of a better shielding or that they're working on?
I don't know that I have a department that I'm a part of. I just am one, but mostly with like vehicles, not so much shields.
Ah, you are a mechanical, sort of a vehicle engineer.
Yeah.
I see. Very interesting. Yeah, I mean, me too. It is a sort of a passion of mine to build machines that do things as well. Yeah.
Yeah. So you get it. I mean, maybe you could ask the colonel for something, but I won't be able to help out.
Yeah, it's a shame. Yeah, I feel this war is not at the right time for someone like me. I would feel much better if there was a bit more lightweight protection that I could just carry around. You know, these on a personal scale. You know.
Well, there's a lot of weird stuff happening in the world right now. Maybe we'll find something you can use on one of our outings.
It seems to be turned out that when we go outside, something finds me that can use me more often than not.
Well,
you know, the first time the colleague blows up with the generator, and then and then the whole business with the spies, where you know I almost hit one of you guys instead of them, and then I open the door and get shot in the face.
Yeah, I could see why that would be disconcerting.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
we still here, ain't we? And God's got to throw us a bone eventually, right?
You're very funny, man.
Yeah.
He laughs almost maniacally as he walks away from you and sort of repeats the line, God is gonna throw us a bone. As he walks away with this insane laughter.
Yeah, funny. He kind of says under his breath. And then as you leave, I think he's gonna like prop open the trash can lid a little bit just to make his hangout zone smell like poop. And then he'll leave.
All right. So, Herr Doctor, as we see Howard do that, where do you go next?
So her doctor walks the hall, just laughing and cackling about the idea of God and the idea of God throwing him a bone. And maybe the colonel like hears it because he disturbs some people, and tells him that he should probably try therapy again. And so he will do that.
Okay. Yes, the colonel appears to be standing at a center desk and is looking, poring over notes as you're laughing, and you can see him furrow his brow just minutely, but he looks up and, Doctor, what might I help you with today? You are for another round of therapy, I believe.
What? Me? What I could use is some protection, so I don't get just shot in the face. I would like to have a helmet assigned to me and whatever body armor you have, or if you have a what would be a good word? That a good technobabble word for a department that researches materials. Like alloys, materials. He's sort of fishing because the doctor mentally is maybe a little ahead of what standard engineering is, right? Because his ideas are far out there, but he's looking for sort of an advanced materials and alloy research department, right? So that he can metallurgy, yeah, right. So yeah, he would sort of ask like really complicated, advanced molecular metallurgy armaments department, which of course they don't have, where he could talk to someone to fashion some body armor to protect himself better. Because and then he leans in because God is supposed to throw me a bone.
At the mention of God, you can kind of see his eyebrow twitch, and he hides it well, but that offset him just a little bit. But he goes, yes, just a moment. And he goes into the back, and there's some movement of boxes. You can hear things fall down. And, oh, shit. And then he comes out with what appears to be a metal plate.
Yeah.
And he has there's a rope tied around it for the neck, but he goes, yes, here you go. These are common in the Soviet army, so I believe this will do well for you. Sorry, the Russian army. This will do well for you.
Interesting. Would you know what alloy this is?
He wraps his finger or knuckle on it. Appears to be made of iron.
Iron. How positively medieval. Thank you. I will go to the kitchen and make myself more of it. So the doctor is obviously not happy about that, right? Because it's far from a good metal to stop bullets. I mean, it works, but it's just too heavy, and he was thinking of something better.
He looks at you for a moment, grabs the plate back, puts it against the table, takes 10 steps back, pulls out his gun, and shoots it in the middle of this place. Everyone pauses, jumps for a moment, looks at him, and as you look to the plate itself, you can see that there's a dent on the interior of it, but the bullet was stopped.
Oh, for sure. Yeah,
it might be crude, but it is still effective.
Not unlike Irvine. Okay, thank you. And he'll pick up the plate, and walk away because obviously he will also commend the colonel on his presentation skills. Very flashy, he says.
He inclines his head slightly at you and then goes back to studying his papers.
Yeah, he'll carry that plate of metal and mutter to himself that if he had wanted some metal, he would have just fucking, torn pieces from a car or whatever. And then he starts thinking, oh, a car, and then starts thinking that maybe he could talk to someone that makes cars, to find a more lightweight alloy that still has the same stopping power, because he certainly doesn't want to strap himself into 100 pounds of metal that he could sew into. Of course, you could sew that into your clothes, right? But it just becomes too heavy if you want good full body armor.
That's entirely understandable.
Yep.
And then you said you wanted to do therapy.
Want? I think the guy is going insane, so I think he needs therapy.
Well, kicking and screaming, he is drugged to therapy.
No, I mean, he goes back. Again, the colonel said he should get therapy, and he himself is recognizing that people are looking even weirder at him, and he has recurring nightmares, and he's actually quite afraid to go out on the next mission because he might get shot fatally this time.
That's understandable.
So there are a few things that he has he has a brilliant mind, so he can self-diagnose to know that he has issues.
All right. So since both you and Howard have given this particular therapist a run for his money, he is not at a penalty anymore. So and it succeeded. So go ahead and roll me that beautiful. Let's see if it succeeds. Your agent regains 1d6 sanity.
1d100, got it.
Mm-hmm.
Son of a bitch.
Oh man.
That is just pitiful. Well, yeah, that's how it goes. God is gonna throw me a bone. Yeah.
All right. So as that wraps up there, you all reconvene over the next few weeks, and Colonel Gray says, "Yes. Now, where might we focus our resources for your next mission? Due to the shipping manifest that you acquired when confronting the individual known as the Door Warden, we have a few targets of opportunity."
Well, I don't think the doctor would chime in unless he specifically asked.
He's asking all three of you.
No, yes, but he, the other ones seem more gung ho.
Sorry, what was it asked? I thought he was asking the doctor.
He's asking everyone, basically, where do you want to go next? Where do you want to focus and get more information? You all had that shipping manifest that you confiscated from the Door Warden.
Yeah.
And it gave you targets and locations, names and locations, but we can all use some of your skills to get more information on said targets. I believe that Howard wanted to look towards Italy.
Yes.
Yeah, didn't we find something related to Hungary as well, as far as the shipping of the cloth and such?
Yeah, it says the lighting equipment going through the portal and exit in Hungary, where probably Eigner is. The biological resources are going to Poland, where we believe Theresia Sitz, aka Arts, is. And the cloth is being sent to Berlin, where we assume it's maybe Himmler himself or someone else we haven't heard of.
Yeah, Irving kind of sits back a bit. Amongst the others, well, honestly, all of it sounds a bit precarious.
There's also a musician in Sweden. So it's 4 places we can go to, I think.
Well, you probably are. It's going to be very difficult to get into Berlin, so you could probably cross that one off the list. But the choices are the 4, which would be Hungary. They would be Poland, which would be also difficult to get into, but is more possible than Berlin. Let's see, Sweden, and then Italy.
Oh, what's in Italy?
Italy is...
Is that from the previous mission? Maybe that's why I'm not reading it.
That's... I think it should be listed in the reconnaissance and field intel. Or even up in the Delta Green page, there should be the Herald. The Herald is in Italy.
The Herald is in Italy, yeah.
So for that, you would see that there is a large shipment of spelunking and mountaineering equipment that has been sent to Italy, as well as mechanical repair material.
So,
I don't know about you all, but I'm partial to checking out what's going on in Italy. It seems like they may be looking for something, and I'd like to get there before they find it.
oh, mate, it's something. I don't know. If we can stop them from doing just about anything, I'm happy. And Italy, compared to the rest,
Sounds good. Could be a little
sounds
warmer.
reasonable.
Maybe there'll be some nice
Suppose,
weather.
yeah,
We
that-
can eat
well.
some spaghetti and pizza. Also, the women have quite the passion, you know.
Colonel Gray does not bat an eye at this. So then with that, let me take a look at relevant skills for characters here so we can drill down further.
Drilling. I can do drilling.
Thinking probably be Sigint for Irving.
You can do SIGINT, certainly. We can also do. We can treat this as kind of staying on the case, but we can use skills other than the two that are listed there in place of those. So, for Abductor, you've got.
And this is sort of legwork work.
This is legwork. So this is to
Could
kind of
leverage bureaucracy potentially.
Yeah, you could easily
requesting
use bureaucracy.
requesting reports, going through papers and folders and files.
And even using using contacts that you might still have within the Reich. So yeah, the bureaucracy would be very good for that. Howard, what do you got?
Can I maybe do heavy machinery to try to understand what those parts might be for?
Yeah, certainly.
Cool.
And then Irving, you mentioned SIGINT earlier. Yeah, you can certainly use SIGINT.
Yeah.
You
not
also have
super
military
great, but
science land, which you could do as well.
Yeah. About the same, and I feel like, generally speaking, the Sigint will probably be. Well, I mean, the military science might actually help out in figuring out the best approach for stuff, huh? Going over some maps, stuff like that, figuring out the layout. Let's do military science land. I think that fits. Should I just roll it, or?
Let's see. Yeah, go ahead and roll it. And you'll get something, but if you get a success, you'll get more.
Cool.
So I've got mechanical as well. Would it be better to just roll that with?
Howard's doing mechanical. I think
Okay,
your bureaucracy lead there is really good. I've got
Nice.
a good angle there for you.
And we all succeed not.
We have
Legwork's
advantage on these, right? You get to roll
Yeah,
twice.
definitely advantage in Delta Green.
Yeah, of course.
So we're
classic.
even though these are home scenes or downtime scenes, you can still mark failures since you did use a skill and fail it.
Oh, yeah.
But
Sweet.
for land for military science, let's see. Mainly the information that you have is that let's see, where's this at? That the mountaineering equipment, it doesn't really put you the best way to get into anywhere. Like let me rephrase that. That was terrible fucking English. Sorry. Your approach through Italy, because it is in what you can assume would be the Italian or in the Alps or close to the Alps, means that you would have to find ports or make landfall somewhere along the coastline, but you're still roughly like 200 miles, or like anywhere between 150 to 200 miles from the nearest mountain. So then the best bet that you could get would be probably landing by Genoa if you wanted to go by the sea route. If you wanted to go by lands, that would be different. But with your military science with land, I would say
Switzerland is still Switzerland in World War II.
it is. Yep.
Mm.
So you could, you could make for Switzerland and pass through there.
Go down to the mountains and stuff. Yeah.
Yep, that would be. It would be a heavier travel, but or harder travel, but you could do
I
that.
imagine the border would be a bit difficult, though, huh?
It would,
Then
but
again, I mean, that applies to any of it. So.
yeah.
But you'd be in the Alps already if you flew over France straight to Switzerland, perhaps.
Yeah. I feel like generally speaking, that would give us more places to fall back to as well if need be, compared to going by sea.
Yeah, I think so.
Because I mean, we could easily lose them in that kind of terrain. Well, I say easily.
I've watched James Bond. It'd be cool.
Nothing's easy anymore. Yeah, so I think Irving would definitely suggest that. Bring that up to the others. Mention that. I mean, really, the mountains might be the best way to go. Head down from Switzerland.
All right, and then for Howard with your heavy machinery, the reports that you've gotten about the shipping manifest that you have isn't complete. Like, you understand that this is just the recent shipment that was sent to Italy, so you are missing the full picture. But you're looking at the materials, and it ranges anywhere from clockwork size gears and springs to massive crane sized sprockets and machinery. And that's the most baffling thing to you, is that how could something have so small, fine mechanical parts as well as large mechanical parts? And on top of that, how are they getting that up into the mountains, given what Irving told you?
Okay.
And for El Doctor, you, given your bureaucracy, you do still have some contacts within the Reich. They're hesitant to talk to you. Just mainly because it's been...
No change there. Yeah.
Mainly because things are tense. It's wartime. You defected, things like that. They think you're a traitor, blah, blah, blah. Same old. But the interesting thing that you get out of some of them is that they're almost scared to talk about what's going on within the Reich. Like, you kind of poke and prod and like, hey, there's this group, La Cour D'or, that seem to have poked up within the Reich, and as soon as you mention that, they quiet. They grow quiet. They don't talk, and you press them, and all you can get out of them is Bertrand Guillaudot he'll kill us if we speak to you about this.
Yeah. Okay.
But you do get, where is it? Not that had the name.
That means Bertrand is actually out and about in the Reich. So he's not just an envoy now, maybe. Yeah, I guess he's an envoy. Sort of an ambassador. Like he's staying in the Reich, looks like.
Where did I put that name? I have that name.
Major player.
Oh, there it is. So yes, you get the name of Christian Kramer. And
okay.
Let's see. Let me just put this in here because
Christian Kramer.
Nope. That's not right.
No, I'm sure that's how it sounds.
The link.
And in what connection do I get that name?
You get that connection that they are presently current.
That's a woman.
Current and active within Italy, and when you press on the Cour D'or, you get the inkling that that she is there under their orders.
Okay. So if I was to find her, I might find the compound. Is that what you're saying?
Well, you get the kind of sense that maybe she might be the envoy, or not the envoy, but the herald.
Oh, okay. Got it. Yeah. Well, of course, I relay that information to everyone who should know.
Mhm.
So that is the information that you have at present. And Colonel Gray goes, yes, well, I suppose we should start gathering materials and gearing up to make our way to Italy then, correct?
Yeah.
Sounds like the best bet.
Very well. I suppose then we need to spend some time narrowing down where we're headed. But please, and he goes over to his desk, pulls open a drawer, and hands over some British pounds to you. Please go have a night on the town. You have all had a lot of work and done a lot of serious work for Pisces. And as a representative of the organization, I want to say thank you for that.
Well, thank you. It's appreciated. I guess eventually I do have to relax, eh?
It would help. Cannot complete this oversight operation with, pardon the phrase, broken people.
Well, from what I've seen on the fields, everyone's already broken, so you'll just have to do the best with what you got, eh?
Yes, but we prefer not to be too broken. We want to cross the finish line, as it will.
Fair enough. All right then. He kind of looks to the other two. You know, what do you say then? Droughts are on the Colonel.
Sounds great.
Yeah. Sounds good. He says, kind of like smiling a little.
So, as you make your way about on the town, you take part in drinks and some decent food, and y'all can regain 1d3 sanity. Say a token, a touching gesture in the middle of wartime and in a tense operation.
Not really.
Nice.
But yes, so as you all reconvene and you start gathering your gear, Colonel Gray nods to everyone and says, well, we certainly have things narrowed down a little bit more, but just a bit more study and tapping contacts, and I think we can get there. But is there anything else that we wanted to focus on before we set out? And in the handouts, there are a couple of things that you could study more before we end here, but one of them is, remember, you do have the mathematical books and formulae that the La Cour D'or have implemented. So if anyone wanted to learn some hypogeometric rituals, you could. You did get the workings of opening up the ways and paths. You have learned how to do that. There is the vinyl record, and then there are the marionette heads, which the doctor has studied, but people can poke around on that more. And there are the keys.
I think Irving is definitely. He really doesn't want to mess with any of it, but at the same time, he's worried that he might need to. That like perhaps some of the info from this might be vital with the stuff they're about to encounter. Um, he's not particularly great with maths or anything like that, but there's always the chance that he might be able to tie some of it, the geographical aspects and the mathematical aspects, to either military science or SIGINT in some way that might help. So I think he will actually very hesitantly and there's a word I'm looking for, but very hesitantly go over it. Reluctantly, that's what I was thinking.
Okay.
Kind of look into some of the maths of it.
Certainly. Which one were you looking at?
What all did we have? We had the geometry and stuff.
You
What would be
have
the thing that?
that one, which is concepts, the concepts mathematique, which is the
How you
basically
can make a mask and the keys, huh?
no, that one is what the huntmaster was using,
Oh.
basically sniping from a distance.
Mm-hmm.
And then
I
you
feel
have
like
the ways and paths, which is the mask and keys.
Yeah, I think he's kind of curious about the mask and keys, but with the capabilities he heard of, because he'd probably be more comfortable with that because he hasn't seen it himself, right?
Okay.
He's like, well, I mean, the doors and stuff have those terrible things in and are pretty horrific. Maybe this one won't be as bad, right? And also, from what he gathered from the reports, the guy was doing some stuff with air quotes sniping, but also uh, distance work and stuff like that from what he had heard. So I think he'd probably go for that.
Okay. So, do I have that here? I think I have that over here. So, let's see. Did I put that there? Where is it at? It is. I have the thing written out. So, over the next few weeks, you can learn this. As soon as I find the damn thing.
It's all good.
There it is. Okay, I'll just put the link out here in the Discord. So while you're doing that, Howard, is there anything that you would like to look at or do further research on?
I don't know how good he would be at studying the books, but I guess I can try.
Okay.
Would I be able to use military science to try to understand the mathematics one, or what would that be?
Well, no skill is specifically. Boy, my tongue is just fucking up tonight. No skill is specifically required. It is in German, but you can have the doctor or someone, other native German speaker, translate it to English for you. The study time is weeks, and you gain 5% in unnatural, but you lose 1d6 sanity.
Okay. Let's try it. Sure. Let's go for it.
Okay. So, yep, go ahead. You don't have to roll anything, but I did put the link in the Discord chat for you to look over.
Okay.
And at the end, before we set out on the next mission there, you will have the Advanced Mathematical Concepts ritual learned. So, once again, go ahead and raise your unnatural by 5%, but also lower your maximum sanity by 5%, because that's how that works.
Okay.
And then lose 1d6 sanity, both of you.
So we're both. Yeah, we are both learning. Awesome. Where is the unnatural?
Roll low. Yes. Unnatural is literally the last skill on the right.
Let's go. Ah, there we go. 5%. So unnatural, and I lose 3 sanity. Down to 62. That's not great. Alrighty. Yeah, I think his next home scene is definitely going to be sending a letter to Annabelle to have her not be like, look, you haven't even been sending me letters lately. Fuck off.
Okay, so let's see. Let me do this quick. Did that not do what I needed it to? Okay, it did. Perfect. So as we kind of wrap things up there, the Colonel Gray comes and kind of nods at everyone, stroking his chin. Yes, well, it does appear that we have roughly pinpointed a location. That appears to be... I'm sorry, I'm just trying to locate this on the map here. And he pulls out a large map. It appears to be on the border of Switzerland and Italy.
Is there anything interesting about the rubber suits that we could learn, by the way?
If you want to go ahead and roll me some chemistry on that, you certainly can.
Oh, sure. Maybe they figured out armor, right? As he sort of despairs at not having any other armor.
That definitely makes sense, given it was specifically designed to protect from weird shit, and it sounds
Yep.
like.
Yep.
So it might be useful.
A chemical compound analysis of the rubber suits details that they are made of a rubber mixture. Like it's a standard rubber on the exterior, but when you get to the interior, it appears to be made of some other combination of material. So it's rubber, but then it's also weirdly tacky to the touch.
Okay.
And the more you try to study the other material after you've distilled both elements down, it's indefinable. You're not sure exactly what the substance is made of.
On the inside.
Correct.
And can one actually see through them?
No.
Because you said that they were black, so they are blacked out. So even when you're inside, you can't look out.
Correct.
So
And
it doesn't
they're
make sense how
blacked-
people navigate using
They're
them,
blacked
right?
out across the mask, but you can still breathe, so it's not
Yeah.
suffocating. But if you recall, that those were just for people who were upset, like were disturbed by what was on the other side of the gate.
I see. Okay.
So if you were quote unquote brave of heart and went in through the gates, you might be fine on the other side.
Yeah.
But for people who have gone through there and said, nah, fuck that, I don't want to have anything to do with that,
You mean normal people?
that's what the suit was for.
Mhm.
Exactly.
Okay. And these suits aren't particularly sturdy or anything. They're just rubbery.
They're just rubbery.
Okay. Interesting.
Everybody loves a good rubbery suit.
Hands up! This is rubbery.
Fucking shit.
So
Oh my god.
you would be, Colonel Gray says that you would be roughly in the southwestern corner of Switzerland. Sorry, southeastern corner of Switzerland.
Can
That
do.
is, and the northwest, or the kind of northwestern part of Italy. Around in that region, that's where reports have initially pinpointed that there's additional troop movement.
Okay.
Okay, so then one last thing would be, I have that there. I do. Okay. Irving, sorry, Lance Corporal Irving. I've decided since you've been in the Army for a few years, you would have been promoted to a Lance Corporal.
Awesome. Sounds good. Yeah, sorry. I would have told you a specific one, but I wasn't sure of a lot of the
Nope,
ranks and
that's
stuff.
fine. Just a quick Google. Let me come up with that. So there's this, and then where's it? There it is. Paste, and then where's it at? There is. You get a letter delivered to you. So I will give you that, and then I will show it to you. It's a traditional V-mail envelope as well as a letter inside, but as soon as you open it, you are greeted with just ineligible text. But with your SIGINT, which is, can I find you? There you are. Your SIGINT is down to 40%. Perfect. This is a British cipher. So it's commonly used during World War II, but you're able to kind of roughly in your head fill it out to, let's see this as soon as I get over here. And I'll just put this in the chat so everyone can read it. And whether you tell them or not, that's entirely up to you.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. Yeah, he's kind of surprised because he assumed that some of that was higher ups' decisions overall, but the fact that they went over some people's heads and he has an idea of who this is from, but he quite swiftly burns it. Wherever would be suitable for that. Probably goes by a pub while he still has like a half a day of peace and quiet left before they ship out, and a nicer pub, obviously, one with a fireplace or something like that, and kind of tosses it in while drinking down a pint. But he doesn't tell anyone of it.
Okay. All right.
But that does have his mind open a bit, which is even more concerning.
So as you all start to gear up and get ready for your next outing, the dreams still haunt you from time to time. The crowded places, the people that are by you, and there's the sound of something else for everyone. It's the sound of, it's almost like ticking, just but it's colossal. It's just this large. It's almost like you're in the center of a large clock, and just this constant ticking, and everyone still can. And these are your dreams over a few weeks, but every once in a while, you hear the music that you heard on the record, or the sound of crowds. And as you try to reach up to your face, you feel, and this is for Howard specifically, since you've had some outings, but as Howard reaches, and sorry, let me check one thing quick. I think it's the doctor too.
Yeah, me and Doctor have been having like the dreams for as long as each other.
Yep. There's just a specific note that I had to make for Doctor and for Howard to keep track of something. But for you two, as you reach up to your face in your dreams where everything is black and you hear the crowds around you, you reach up and touch, but there's nothing covering your face. There's no coverings, there's no bag, there's nothing over there. And as you kind of start to frantically move your hands around you, you bump what feels like a stone table, and on it your fingers caress something, and just in that brief moment, this almost epiphany, this recognition dawns, and it feels almost right. And as you reach for it, that's when you wake up in this cold sweat that pours down your back. every one of you just breathing, panting hard, and even Irving. You didn't have the touching of the stone table, but you did have the kind of suffocation and the crowd surrounding you. But that is where I think we're going to end it. So, questions, comments?
Nice, it was
That
cool.
was great.
Fun.
Good.
Yeah.